I started telling lies, sometimes a lot, and mostly to myself. It's likely that you lie, perhaps even a lot, and often to yourself. These lies are lies that began through conditioning of disempowering beliefs. These lies started out as simple, and all of that is a problem. That these lies were told for fear of perceived pain or the promise of the pleasure of someone else's approval is a bigger problem even still. And unless we start to get honest, the world will not get better. And that is the biggest problem of all. So how did we get here? And what is the solution? I want you to imagine a small child, say 2 or 3 years old. How many of you, or does anyone here have any small children? Raise your hand if you have any small children. Okay, that's like 6 of you. For the rest of you, do you know people who have small children? Okay, that's like another 10, right? For the rest of you, were you ever a small child? Right. So as you bring to mind this small child, I want you to consider some of the positive qualities and characteristics that come to mind for you when you think of children. Perhaps you think of the fact that they are innocent, that they are persistent, very determined, loving, even unconditionally loving. And take note that no one teaches a small child these qualities, but rather they are very innate. No one teaches a small child persistence. I know that it's rhetorical, but think of the number of times that a small child falls down before they learn to walk. And yet I know that everyone in this room at some point in your life, you were persistent, considering no one crawled into the room this afternoon. No one has to teach a child how to trust. A child only knows trust because they have not learned what distrust is. And perhaps you also consider that a child is also very honest, perhaps even brutally honest. And no one teaches a child how to be honest. If anything, as adults, we will teach them to lie. And the lie may start with something as simple as, shh, don't tell your dad about this. Or don't tell mom. Or the phone rings and mom or dad are perfectly prepared to allow the phone to ring. They know the ringtone. They know who it is. And so they have resigned to just let it ring. However, the child is uninformed of this. And so enthusiastically, the child picks up the phone. Hello. And now mom is in a panic like, no. Tell him I'm not here. And because the child is new at this dishonesty thing, the child is now on the phone like, well, my mommy is telling me to tell you. She says she's not here. Right. And as innocent and trivial as this might sound, it is the beginning of disempowering beliefs and conditioning. That child listens as mom tells the neighbor that she's fine, although the child just heard mom crying after an argument with dad. Or perhaps dad is yelling at his favorite sports team on the television. Or even worse, he's yelling at me. Is it really that we're that bad? Or is it because dad lost his job and is afraid of what might come next? I wonder. And you fast forward to today, because that child, another quality that they display is they soak it all in. And so that child who soaked it all in becomes the adult who is standing on this stage. He becomes the adult who is sitting in your chair. And now we live lives where we say yes, but we really want to say no. But we said yes because what we desire is approval or to be liked by someone else. Or perhaps you say no when you really want to say yes. They asked if you needed assistance. They asked if you needed support. And you said, no, I'm okay, I'm fine. for fear of being a burden or being viewed as weak. These small little lies become disempowering beliefs. And what's happening, and the reason why this is a problem, is because it leads to low self-approval. Self-approval is at an all-time high. We know this because loneliness is at an all-time high. And so when I am disapproving of myself, I will look to become more isolated, distant, fearful, and doubtful. So as my self-approval decreases, my loneliness increases, and that is a problem for the world. Low self-approval is robbing the world of great ideas, businesses, songs, and beautiful art, because someone along the way has started to believe that they are not enough. They bought a lie that they weren't important, not valued, not good enough, and not special. When Miles Monroe, the author, suggested that the wealthiest places in the world are not the diamond mines of South Africa, it's not the vaults of Las Vegas, but he suggested that the wealthiest places in the world are the cemeteries. That was not a morbid thought. But consider the number of people who have lived and died with their ideas still in them. Consider the number of books that were never written, the number of songs that have never been sang, the number of businesses that were never started because someone believed that they were not enough. It's robbing us of great ideas, this idea of low self-approval. And so we must get to work. There is work then for us to do. We must begin to get committed to be truthfully and truly known. Because to be truly known is at the core of all of our desires. To have shared your deepest fears. To have it be known what you doubt and what your greatest frustrations are. To even reveal some of your secrets and some of your shadows and still be embraced is a wonderful gift. So how do we get there? How do we go about then authentic living? Well, if it is your desire to be authentically known, then you must get to truly know. To practice what we refer to as empathy. Empathy is that willingness on an individual's part to not only put themselves in another person's shoes, but be willing to walk a mile. When you truly began to empathize, you began to recognize that choice is a function of awareness, that I cannot judge someone for the choice they made unless I am aware of what options they saw as available to them. To empathize has you suspend your opinion to embrace someone else's understanding. When you truly empathize, you reach beyond the surface and you grab hold to what truly connects us all. Because there is a place in you that is also in me and is in all of us, where what we truly want is to know that we belong, that we are deserving, and that we are inherently lovable. If it is your desire to be known by others, you must be willing to truly get to know someone else. I'm reminded in conclusion of a story of this little boy who looked a lot like me. But he could have just as easily been a little boy who looks like you or a little girl who looks like you. This little boy was excited about attending the fair that had come to town. And all week long, he had ridden on the bus on the way home. And he saw the Ferris wheel going up and the large trucks that brought in all of the attractions. And he had been promised that at the end of the week, he too would get a chance to go. And the day had finally arrived. And with wide-eyed, childlike enthusiasm and excitement, he went in and began to take in all of the sights and the sounds. He noticed the Ferris wheel. He also noticed the sounds of games being played, won, and lost. He took in the smells of the popcorn and the taste of cotton candy. But what got his attention the most was the carnival worker who was filling up balloons with helium and setting them up or releasing them into the air. Amazed by this, with childlike wonder, the little boy boldly walks over to the carnival worker and he asks him the question. He said, "Mister, do those green balloons fly as high as the orange balloons?" "Well, yes, son, they do." "And does the purple balloon fly as high as the pink balloon?" "Well, yes, son, it does." "Well, what if there was a red balloon? Would it fly as high as all the others?" "Well, yes, young man, it will." But then the boy asked the question that he really wanted to know. He said, "Mister, can black balloons fly as high as all the other balloons fly?" The carnival worker got down on one knee so as to be eye level with the child. And he said, "Well, son, absolutely. The black balloon can fly way, way, way up in the sky, just like all the rest. You see, it's not the color of the balloon that causes it to soar. It's what is inside." The truth is, for all of us, is that we came into the world also filled with what's necessary in order for us to soar. And just because someone doesn't get just how special you are, doesn't mean that you must begin to take on what their idea for you is. And so my admonishment to you is that you hold on to that truth, that you are filled with what's necessary in order to thrive. And sometimes you may be called upon to be just like that carnival worker and remind someone else that they too have within them what is necessary in order to soar. If you'll do this, the world will be a better place, and that is the truth. Thank you.
ThriveUnion is a real-world community and life school dedicated to human well-being. Our regular events include parties, game nights, supper clubs, hikes, and Thrive meetings to build deep levels of intimacy, empower us to grow, and improve our world. Our life school provides educational videos, articles, conferences, and educational courses. Visit our website at thriveunion.org to learn more.